got source material as rich and complicated as the various Dragon Ball sagas to draw from, how do you begin to whittle it down, to find the best plot or character to serve as the cornerstone of a great game? It's a problem that's plagued the Dragon Ball video game incarnations for a long, long time. But finally, Atari's come up with the right answer. Don't. Instead, Atari has decided to incorporate Wii functionality into the game, giving it incredibly active fighter controls to match. Does it add anything? And more importantly, is there a solid foundation here to place the controls on top of?
You have nothing to fear, so go at it, you two!
Budokai Tenkaichi 2 doesn't concentrate on one particular aspect of the Dragon Ball legacy, but runs the entire series gamut, from the original series through Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT. In other words, fans of the series are likely to go into convulsions of joy when they find out that every single major plot development and character is covered somehow in this game.
It's my lucky day!
The developers haven't left out the more casual fan though. Included on the disc is an encyclopedia to help the Dragon Ball rookies amongst us attempt to unravel the convoluted story within. Why the heck is Goku fighting his brother? Why are there 3 different playable versions of Trunks? Why is Krillin married to a woman named 18? A quick browse through the encyclopedia will help you begin to put these puzzle pieces together, and to enjoy the story that much more.
You can learn a lot about the Dragon Ball Z world here.
He won't get away with this! You are a disgrace to our race! Prepare to die!
Since the game covers so much ground, it's not surprising that the playable fighter count tops out at around 130 in Tenkaichi 2. But don't expect an incredible amount of depth to each choice. The trade-off for so many fighters is that a lot of them play very similarly to one another. There are a few character-specific strategies and combos, but for the most part, each spiky-haired super fighter feels all too familiar. This is remedied somewhat by the Z item option, where you can win or buy specific objects that will affect your character's stats and abilities once they've been equipped. So you can tweak your pugilist to the point where he or she feels pretty unique. There's also an option to create custom Z items, though it hardly seems worth it for the usually meager results.
We have many others.
Of course, if you don't want to bother with story mode, you can always tackle the more straightforward single battle, tournament, and challenge modes. Each of these aren't terribly deep, but are great for bite-sized chunks of gaming if you don't feel like sitting through the seemingly endless conversations and over-the-top voice acting that bookends each level of the main game.
Krillin! Take care of Gohan for me. Goku!
Dragon Ball has always been about mortal combat between superhuman opponents, both on sea, in the air, and just about anywhere else, featuring spectacular special moves and destruction on a massive scale. Tenkaichi 2 conveys the classic DBZ feel by placing the camera over the shoulder of the playable character. It's an unconventional choice for a fighting game, but the perfect one in this situation. You'll actually cringe as you go flying backwards, crashing through mountains, watching your opponent prepare to fire an energy beam that you just know is going to do you in, even though he's hundreds of feet away from you. The combos and commands are fairly simple on the PlayStation 2, based on only a couple of action buttons and the ability to charge up your power by holding one of the trigger buttons. On the Wii, it's a whole different story. While it's great to be able to do the real motions of the characters to toss fireballs and the like, it also makes for an incredibly complicated control scheme. Doing simple things like dashing towards an opponent require thrusts of the nunchuck while holding various buttons at the same time. There's also a cursor that appears on the screen that you have to move off the top of the screen to block. Considering Dragon Ball is traditionally a series revered by kids, it's surprising that they'd further complicate the game. At the same time, once the learning curve is overcome, it's certainly a more immersive, frantic way to play. Another issue is the sporadic difficulty curve. Even early in the game, you'll encounter enemies that are laughably easy, followed immediately by one so difficult it'll leave you breathless, if not chucking your Wii remote at the nearest wall. It's too bad the curve wasn't smoothed out a bit earlier in the story. The difficulty really detracts from an otherwise enjoyable game. And while it lacks any major depth, it's a whole lot of fun. Anime-based fighting games are usually short, one-dimensional affairs, but this latest Dragon Ball manages to be something more than that. This isn't the greatest fighter you're ever going to play, but you don't need to be a hardcore Dragon Ball nerd to enjoy what's on offer, thanks to the active Wii controls. Plus, there's something almost cathartic about sending your buddy flying through a mountain using nothing but a well-placed combo.
If the three of us fight together, we can take that guy. Maybe. Gohan, what is that you're wearing?